Harry.
Seinfuck.
Or maybe I would just like, oh, a woman. I'm. That's what Gauls did.
No, that's not what Gauls did.
That's historically accurate.
I'd like to see your sources.
The majority of like the plundering that happened in like, you know, the Gaul and fucking like Vikings that they did in like, you know, medieval England, majority of it was on monasteries.
Farquaad pointing at you says, "Ha! The nerd thinks the Gauls and the Vikings were the same."
They were concurrent raiders. Well, it depends on your definition of Gaul as well.
Depends on your definition of concurrent. Holy fuck.
But Vikings have a very long history that extended into the Middle Ages and even a little further.
My penis extends to the Middle Ages, bitch.
Oh.
Yeah, got him. Got Malcolm the Pop. That's what it's all about, baby. Yeah. We got Malcolm the Pop. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Let's go home.
Let's get it done.
Malcolm, have you ever seen The Prince of Egypt?
No. I don't know. I was thinking about this. I was like, we were talking about just before the recording, and I go, I don't recall watching it. I do know that I watched Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
A beautiful film.
Which is another bitching animated movie by Disney that lost a shit ton of money.
It's a banger.
My parents worked overtime to make sure that like my brother and I were not exposed to much religious. So it's one of those things where I'm like, even though it's not, I just don't recall seeing it. And I don't know if it's like because it never got replayed on TV, like on the channels I was watching. Like I don't remember this movie at all.
That movie gets played a lot on TV.
Yeah, well, because fucking a major broadcast corporation now owns it. I think it's on Peacock right now. We should watch it. Mostly because I saw it when I was a kid. They played it on like Easter and Thanksgiving, you know, holidays where it's hardly appropriate to show this kind of thing. And maybe Passover, you could agree. Is
never on Christmas, though. That was not a Christmas movie.
You cannot play The Prince of Egypt on Christmas. You are too white to be making this kind of mistake.
But I was just like thinking about this. Harper, I think Malcolm is sort of the opposite of all our friends, like the antithesis of all our friends who weren't allowed to watch Harry Potter. Watch or read Harry Potter.
He was encouraged to watch Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I was. My mom would read me and my brother the Harry Potter books to go to bed when we were younger. And then like my mom took my brother and I on this like big trip to England when we were kids. And yeah, basically every night it was like, all right, we're going to read a little bit more of Harry Potter. And then we would walk around London and then she'd be like, oh, we're by the train station or whatever.
That's very King's Cross. Yeah, that's very sweet. That is genuinely.
It's very nice.
Platform 4 3/4 is right there, Malcolm. Platform 4 3/4.
Harry Potter stood right there.
Kiss the ground he walked on, Malcolm.
And then Harry took out his wand and started jerking it like all the other hobos on King's Cross Station.
There's a Robot Chicken skit about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets where like instead of a wand, he had a rock that he had to rub. It's like they were arguing that the Chamber of Secrets was some sort of metaphor for puberty and like he had to jerk off the stone because like friction activated it or something. Seth Green, if you are for whatever reason exposed to this podcast, big fan, are you a Moving on.
Cut that. But then again, we can make fun of him for liking NFTs, though.
Is he an NFT guy?
No, you didn't know that? He's a hella NFT guy. He's funded like 3 different failed video games
that is
all
insane.
Surrounding NFTs.
Loser.
Just the absolute loser.
What a fucking idiot.
Did you remember when his NFT got stolen and he was making like this like live action sitcom with the NFT?
And so he like, because it's a non-fungible token, he basically like he quote unquote lost the right to use the character, the NFT character in the show, so he couldn't make it because he didn't own the NFT.
Insane to fall for this. Insane. If you are above the age of 20 and have an NFT, you should have grown out of being this gullible at least 18, 19. That's the last straw, you know?
Yeah, so his NFT was Bored Ape number 8398.
Oh, it's a Bored Ape too.
Yeah. Who in the show, Seth Green named that Bored Ape Fred, and his character was supposed to be that of a bartender.
Oh, it sucks. Oh, it sucks so bad.
It's like the worst version of like a Kevin Smith like indie film, like of recently.
I feel like Kevin Smith has a little bit more integrity.
No, he doesn't. No, he fucking
he
doesn't.
He made yoga hosers, all right? Fuck that
guy. Everyone sucks Kevin Smith's nuts, and I'm tired. Shut the fuck up. Everyone sucks Kevin Smith's nuts, and I'm fucking tired of it. Everything after Clerks 2 was ass. Cheeks,
my sister
booty.
Is going to be so mad. She loves Kevin Smith.
I didn't realize by the way, I love that for most times on this podcast, when there's something that you kind of disagree with us, Robert, you always go, "Oh, my sister's going to be so upset about this."
Okay, Jessica, I love you. I don't like most Kevin Smith movies. Like Harper said, I don't think that anything really has been incredible past Clerks 2. Even Clerks 2, I'm okay. It's fine. Take it or leave it.
Clerks 2 has its moments because Kevin Smith has this terrible habit of masturbating in his script. And it's so fucking annoying to listen to. He's just like, why do all these people want to come out here telling me how to live my life? These self-absorbed pricks, they should be going on their own robotic way instead of telling me how to live my comic boy life. Fuck you.
Anyway.
No, I will say that I do agree. I do think Zach and Miri Make a Porno, which is the direct follow-up to Clerks 2.
Was that a Kevin Smith movie?
That is a Kevin Smith movie. I'd say that's where...
Oh, that is just as bad.
That's like right on the line.
No,
that's
it's
right on
bad.
the line. But like basically...
Keep talking. Finish your point, Malcolm.
But yeah, everything else, Cop Out, sucks. Red State, sucks. Tusk, kind of scary, but also fucking sucks for the most part. Yoga Hosers, trash. Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Oh, fuck.
Hot garbage. Kilroy was...
Dogma's okay. I like Dogma.
Oh, fuck the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Like, I get if you like Dogma, but that reboot is hard to watch.
Kilroy was here. Hot garbage. And then I guess he did Clerks 3, but I don't even remember this coming out.
So Clerks 3 is an interesting case in how far narcissism can carry a popular director.
I love this, Harper, and I want you to finish your point, but I have to say this. I'm kind of like having a little bit of an introspection right now, because so far in the podcast, I've disagreed with you guys about a few things, not like a huge amount of stuff, but like, and I've mostly shut up about it and why. Okay, yeah, those are valid points. You know, I hate myself more than I like some of these things, so it's fine. And so then it gets into you guys talking, and I'm just realizing, like, oh, whenever my sister likes something, I defend it more than I defend the things that I like. It is hella sad. Come on.
Stand up for yourself. No. All right. Stand up for yourself more. Stand up less for...
I've got ketchup confidence, Malcolm. That's all I have. I have one. If I need ketchup,
Wait, sorry.
Let me explain what...
You say you have ketchup
confidence.
Ketchup? What?
Ketchup confidence is when if you need ketchup, you're sitting at a fast food place and you have fries and you need ketchup, shut the fuck up, Harper. I'll beat the shit out of you. If you are sitting at a fast food restaurant and you have fries and you need ketchup, you are weird. You feel weird about asking for it. But if your friend needs ketchup and he has fries and he doesn't have ketchup, then all of a sudden you have the confidence to go and be the most annoying person in your room to make sure that they have what they need. That is ketchup confidence.
Can I make a statement, just a blanket statement concerning these kind of these allegories that get passed on and then need explaining? This is not the way to make a point. You could just start off by saying that thing instead of saying you have ketchup confidence. I had a friend who once said that things were like quote unquote like coffee when he didn't necessarily like them. And I was finally just like, what do you mean they're like
coffee? You need
coffee?
to adjust it with sweetener or with cream.
Everyone wants to say their fucking thing, right? This doesn't necessarily annoy me, except in the cases where like you need to explain it and it's long and drawn out. In this case, it's like coffee means.
But once you explain it, you never need to explain it again. That's how language is created, Harper. Come on.
Did you listen to this guy? When I say that it's like coffee, I mean that some people like it and some people don't. And in the same time it takes for you to say it's like coffee and me to say, what does that mean? You could have said that exact thing. And I get yelled at for putting too many adverbs in my writing.
So this is what this is about.
You
very much do. I do too.
But I never hear it from you, Robert. It's so strange until now. Well, what if I like him to stand mysteriously?
Yeah.
I thought it. No one in particular.
Except for the people in your writing workshop.
Yeah, we're just exposing each other.
Yeah, no. The sentence you'd write in this story is like, Robert lovingly stared at his sister as she was watchingly watching
was that hot new Kevin Smith movie.
She breasted boobily into the downstairs.
I love that.
My favorite.
Text.
That's my favorite.
It's so good.
So funny.
Was it male writers writing women? She breasted boobily down the stairs.
I've never heard a male writer do this, by the way. So I think this is just more like women making up things to be upset about.
You know what it is? It's not like published male writers. It's the writers who are like in like, you know, writing workshops, or they're like, you know, I'm taking creative writing class, and then they're writing it and they'll never go beyond that class.
Yeah, and they sort of invent a woman that they want to have sex with. That's generally how it goes.
Yeah, it's like her tits bounced one by one as she walked down the stairs in lingerie.
Yeah, it's I mean, let's be honest, guys should never have been given something so phallic as a pen.
Her feet covered in dried egg yolk.
Tarantino, get out of here. What do you want?
Yeah, that reminder that Tarantino wrote a character who takes a shot.
She spent the day crushing eggs with her soft, subtle teeth. That's how she makes her money on the internet.
I just reminded of fucking that one shot of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where fucking what's her name's feet are like 3/4 of the entire screen. And they're just like dirty feet.
Oh, was it Death Proof?
No, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, that one.
Where she's at the movie theater, and it's just like, ugh.
You know what? I will say this: Quentin Tarantino has single-handedly shown me that I do not have a foot fetish on any level.
I think my favorite movie of his which is probably one of his least favorite ones, and it's Hateful Eight. And I think one of the reasons, subconsciously, I think one of the reasons I like that movie is because it has the least to do with feet of any of his movies.
The least.
There are no feet in that movie.
Thank God.
You're right. Actually, you're absolutely right. Like, there's barely any feet in that movie because it's like basically.
He also doesn't cast himself saying the N-word in it, which is a big change.
Yeah, he does narrate a part in it in like the middle between Act 1 and 2, or I think 2 and 3. I can't quite remember. I watched that movie like 8 times in the theaters. It was kind of ridiculous.
You know, it's funny. I had at one time purchased a lot of wrestling books when I was first getting into the hobby. And Chris Jericho wrote one.
I'm sorry. You called it a hobby?
It is an obsession.
All right.
Go on.
All right. Chris Jericho spends like at least 6 hours name dropping celebrities in his book instead of talking about his wrestling career. He just talks about how like famous he is and how many like famous people he knows.
Oh, so he had a ghostwriter and he was just ranting to the guy.
Yeah, he was just bragging to the ghostwriter. And at one point he's talking about meeting Quentin Tarantino and how nervous he was. And he's like, just like, you know, I tried to play it cool, but Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite directors. And I loved at least the first half of Kill Bill or something like that.
It was unintentionally so funny.
And like, he says like he was talking to Tarantino because he was doing a private screening of Fistful of Dollars or something like that, like a spaghetti western.
Yeah.
He's just like, you know, these are my favorite kind of movies to Tarantino. And Tarantino's just like, oh, a fellow spaghetti western fan, huh? You too. What are your top 5? And he starts naming off all these films that Chris Jericho's never seen. He's just like, 2 Mules for Sister Sarah, Fistful of Dollars, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And he's just like, I have never seen any of these movies. and he's just like looking like a total fucking asshole in his own book and talking to
Just a complete poser.
Talking to Quentin Tarantino. And I really wonder.
It's just like, you can't like compare movie knowledge to Quentin Tarantino because that man is obsessed.
If you're talking to Tarantino, just be like, I've never seen these movies. What do you like about him, Quentin?
Yeah, I think what you have to do is like, I like spaghetti westerns, but I want to watch some more. Tell me which ones to watch, and then just listen to him for the next hour.
Yeah, or don't listen to him while he prattles on incessantly, and you increase your influence with him passively. That is the true life hack. Let me tell you boys something, okay? I have unwittingly made several people acquaintances or even friends by just letting them fucking jabber on about nothing.
What they like, yeah.
People will love to talk if you let them. if you prompt them to share things about themselves and they're open enough to be like, well, I love baby grand pianos. You see, the history of the baby grand piano is inclusive. And
so you're making friends with people with autism.
We're friends.
Self-fire. Self-shot. Damn it. Slam.
Yeah.
I don't have autism. I'm just weird.
I don't have autism.
Listen, you clearly don't have autism.
Yeah, my parents tested enough.
You need to go back, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like I had ADHD or anything like that as a kid either, because they were just like, they gave me, they gave me, or they tested it out giving me freaking Adderall, and I probably should have played it cool, because nothing plays better than like just a pocket sub to or prescription to Addy, but.
I think you were going to say you just like nothing's better than a pocket full of Adderall on the playground.
No,
so true.
Because like if you get like a regular prescription to Adderall, you can sell that shit for good fucking money. Like that's money in your pocket right there. Anyway, but my parents tried it out on me, and like the first day they were just like, no, because I was just fucking bouncing off the goddamn walls. Because it's not supposed to when you have like true blue ADHD, it's not supposed to make you go crazy. It actually just like focuses you, whereas it was insane.
I tell you what, I played Overwatch one time on Adderall back in 2016, and I've never had such a good tracer game, and I never will again.
No, because you can't keep doing that. That is a high that you cannot chase.
It's a 29-0 streak though, and that was an incredible game of Overwatch. I'll tell you what. An incredible game.
You came so hard that night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I stayed up until 3 a.m. What?
Oh, nothing. No, I was just gonna ask if Malcolm's ever had sex on Adderall.
No, I've never had Adderall. Listen,
Here we go again.
You were a straight edge little boy.
Well, Robert, tell us what sex on Adderall feels like. Why don't you?
Yeah,
it's not. It's like sex on meth. I've never done meth.
But you have had it.
Yeah, I've had Adderall, but I haven't had sex on Adderall. I was just making a joke.
Oh, I think because you have stories. So.
I have stories, but most of them.
Yeah, I thought this was just going to be another occasion for you to brag about having sex.
No, I've been called out for that, and I'm kind of like thinking back on it. I'm just like, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to tell stories, because that's kind of half the point of the podcast.
No one's calling you out on it.
No, it's not you guys.
Who's doing it?
Bleep it, Sasha. It's 100%.
Oh.
Don't cut that out too. I'm sorry. I love you, Sasha. But it was just like, we were talking about it the other day, and I was just like, oh God, I feel seen, and I feel like people think they know everything about me, or it's just like, I want to address this. So just real quick, 99% of the time, I am a fucking loser. My semi-reasonably good looks that are rapidly fading.
Would you listen to him?
That are rapidly fading God has given me many blessings that I don't deserve, and I'm squandering every day.
Listen, what a humble guy. What a humble man. What a humble man.
Oh Lord, it must be hard.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
He comes down from his pedestal with his giant cock, and he goes, I know
what it's like to be ugly. I'm only reasonably attractive myself.
No, I did not fucking say that.
That's exactly what you just said.
No!
Robert, you go like, listen, I'll make sure that when I take a photo that my face just looks a little off.
I'll make a funny face.
Just to make myself more
I'll make a funny face to make myself look more like you.
I'll do my Robert De Niro face.
I'm not photogenic. I'll give it there.
Yeah, Robert always squints when he's getting a photo taken. It's really funny. He doesn't mean to do it, but he does.
I can't help it. It's just,
you don't need to squint.
I squint when I smile. It's hard not to, because I'm just like, oh yeah, smile for the camera, and I don't I've never checked my angles.
You have to do you squint, and all you have to do is do the peace sign. You head tilt a little bit, squint.
Yeah. You gotta look like a little schoolgirl getting reamed in a hentai.
Anyway.
So when I used to squint too when I smiled, so I had to fix that, right? So what I do now is I bulge my eyes out while I smile, and I look like a fucking maniac in my pictures. And you know what? It's led to less people taking my picture, which is fine by me because I hate having my picture taken.
As someone who has been a professional actor and been in commercials and photo and modeled, and shockingly, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's like
it's not that hard to smile.
You just have to. Maybe I just have a good smile. Maybe that's my charm.
Do you rub Vaseline on your teeth?
No. Do you?
Have you ever tried?
No.
Makes your teeth real shiny.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I do feel like I have good teeth. I have like good teeth. I've got good white teeth.
Yeah, that's a blessing I did not get. I was not born with good teeth.
No, same here. And I got a dentist appointment.
I mean, I want to say like I had to get like braces and all that, and I wore headgear for a very short amount of time.
Well, you did your penance, I think.
I had my my overbite, and I still have a little bit of an overbite, but yeah, it's one of those things where the best way like just like to kind of do it is you have to like keep getting your photo taken, because I'm not like, I don't love like constantly looking at myself. Like I think recently, I've my weight fluctuated a lot over the last few years, and so there's definitely a period of time when I was heavier that I was like, oh God, I was like looking at photos, and like the worst honestly, like for photos is like getting headshots done, because the photographer will send you every single photo.
Yeah.
Like, and like all the bad ones, like, and there's funny ones, like, where it's like clearly blurred and like you were moving and like and that stuff, and that's fine. But then there's other ones where you're like, oh, like that's just not my angle. Like, and I think the hard part is that with like a lot of just like day-to-day photos is like most of the time, especially in group photos, it's like you might not be in the right angle, and like cameras invert and they flip.
And sometimes the photographer can use a fucking dumbass lens. I mean, I want for my work headshots. I don't know what kind of fucking type of lens this guy used, but might as well have been like a fucking fisheye, because he made me look like like I was fucking Dumbo. My ears were massive in that picture.
Yeah, Robert Delilah, businessman from the 90s. The fisheye lens. Let's go.
God damn. Yeah. It was super fucking like, I looked at it like, my face isn't that wide. What is going on? And then I looked at everyone else's that had their picture taken, and he's just like, this camera guy fucking hated us. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna take like 3 pictures, or I'm just gonna like send him along. You can tell me which one's best. No, he was just like, next, boom, next, boom. It was like I was taking school fucking pictures. And yeah, they cheaped out on the camera guy. Needless to say, we didn't rehire that guy next time we did headshots.
Yeah, that's why you don't hire your boss doesn't hire his like nephew.
His nephew, yeah.
Who's like, I'm a photographer.
I think that was a Craigslist photographer, as sad as that is.
Oh, that's honestly worse. Like, you should have just got Facebook Marketplace, or at least you can like go on their profile and like look at like, okay, they have more photos up. I can see what they're doing.
Yeah, they have a portfolio. You can see what they're doing.
The Craigslist, you're like, this guy could have just stolen the camera. Like, he could have just stolen the camera. He lives in his Chevy, and he says he takes photos, but he's like never done it in his life.
Yeah.
Until this moment. Yeah. But I love the idea of like a fisheye, like just like corporate photos. And it does feel like it's the start of like a 90s skate video where it's just like, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I work in real estate during the day, and at night I fucking shred.
I fucking rise and grind. Boom. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called rise and grind, and it's
it's rise and grind. It's like, yeah, I rise and then I grind, and it's just like
a guy in a suit fucking grinding on a rail while fucking like pick it up. It was just fucking ska backing track goes on.
Yeah, just hardcore ska, and you're like doing grinds like outside of like a clearly like a corporate office building. Like just
what is hardcore ska?
Superman by Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Here I am doing everything I can.
Everything I can.
Then on to where I am.
It goes.
Again, I'm a Superman.
Here I am. Doing everything I can, holding on to all I am.
You gotta have that ending like lilt.
Yeah, he's got the California accent in his song.
I have a California accent. It's not that bad.
Well, that is
Here I am. I can't. Yeah, I definitely arrived there. Ugh.
Yeah, like basically it's like the hardcore ska is the soundtrack of like every Tony Hawk game that was ever made.
You do not listen to a lot of ska.
There's that fucking thing my sister sent Harper and I the other day, which was just like ska. What was it?
Ska's the sound of a 13-year-old wanting mozzarella sticks and getting them or something like that.
Or getting extra, yeah. It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's a sentence like that.
Oh, Jessica.
Jessica, what up?
What the fuck is that?
It's her theme song.
Jessica has a theme song?
Jessica.
Why does it sound like her theme song sung by like black men in the 40s living in Jamaica?
What?
Have you not heard? That's first wave ska. That's what you were doing.
Jessica, I am so sorry. I am so sorry for your brother here. Robert, that was insane.
What?
Are you out of your mind?
Insane? Sung by fucking black men in the 40s?
You can't profile my impressions just based off.
Fuck you. Okay, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. I've been thrown enough under the bus this fucking podcast. I'm done.
Oh, he's quitting.
I make it so fucking easy for you guys, and you go just that much further.
All right, I have a segment. I'm going to do a hard shift.
Oh, good.
Hard R shift. Yep.
So there's an article I found recently, and I wanted to share it because it shocked me in its way. It's from the LA Times.
Mm-hmm.
The headline for this article is "A 9-year-old girl didn't want her goat slaughtered. California fair officials sent deputies after it." All right. I'm here to ask you a question. Are you aware of this article, Harper? No. Do you know what this is? All right, Robert. Do you know?
I know what it is exactly, and it's incredibly sad.
Listen, this is the story of a girl and her goat, and the California government who was hell-bent on killing this goat. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. Goat curry is really good. All right? Yeah, so it starts with, every day for 3 months, Jessica Long's young daughter walked and fed her goat, bonding with the brown and white floppy-eared animal named Cedar. But when it was time for Cedar to be sold and slaughtered at the Shasta District Fair last year, the 9-year-old just couldn't go through with it. "My daughter sobbed in her pen with her goat," Long wrote to Shasta County Fair's manager on June 27th. "The barn was mostly empty, and at the last minute, I decided to break the rules and take the goat that night and deal with the consequences later." Long purchased the goat for her daughter to enter into the 4-H program with the Shasta District Fair. Children are taught how to care for farm animals. The animals are then entered in an auction to be sold and then slaughtered for meat in hopes of teaching children about the work and care needed to raise livestock and provide food, as farmers and ranchers do. In her letter, Long pleaded for the fair to make an exception and let her and her daughter take Cedar back. Aware that Cedar had already been sold in the auction, she also offered to pay you back for the goat and any other expenses it caused, according to the letter obtained by the Times. Instead, officials reached out to the Shasta County Sheriff's Office. Armed with a search warrant, detectives drove more than 500 miles across Northern California in search of the goat. Cedar was eventually taken and slaughtered. So here's the question. What the fuck is this program? Like, why do they have this program?
4-H is a farming program and an initiative, a nonprofit initiative to teach children, quote unquote, resourcefulness. It is kind of become like almost all nonprofits in the U.S. It has become a money-making venture for a very few people at the top, but it also has a very hard right political tilt that has been increasing for many decades. And this particular story is incredibly sad because California law, people under 18 have the explicit right to break out of any other signed agreement with a organization. So as soon as that kid said, "I don't want to slaughter my goat," immediately then the 4-H should have backed off. But instead, they said no. They auctioned the goat off anyway, which was already in violation. They did not have the right to auction off that goat. And then instead of the police saying like, "Oh, hey, the ownership of this goat is disputed. We're going to take it and hold it until the issue gets resolved," they immediately gave it to 4-H, which is also wildly illegal.
Yeah, well, this is the quote that I like, why I wanted to share it, which was, "It was never about the money," said Vanessa Shakib, an attorney for advancing law for animals who represents Long. "County officials were clear that they wanted to teach this little girl a lesson."
And that's kind of accurate, but also it's inaccurate because one of the things the mom did when she initially tried to back out of this deal at 4-H was illegally denying. She posted on Facebook and Instagram about the goat and how she wanted to save it. And because of this, 4-H got a lot of bad publicity. And so this wasn't a revenge against the kid. This was a revenge against the mom. It's a very sad story, and there were so many different steps where that shouldn't have gone well. Also, kind of not included in that specific article, the guy who initially bought the goat, who auctioned or won the auction for the goat, who was a state representative, he was completely fine with the goat staying alive and not getting slaughtered. But still, 4-H was very specific. And I don't even know if anyone even ate the goat afterwards. So it was incredibly wasteful.
Wait, what? They didn't? I just assumed that, like, because that's what this says in the article, is that the goat was slaughtered and then provided for meals for the community. Yeah,
meals for the community. Okay, meaning there was a organization at the county fair that they fucking gave it out. The way it didn't initially was supposed to go to the guy who actually won the auction for the goat, but instead, because the guy didn't want it, they just gave it out at the fair.
That's a fucking awesome NPR article. Jesus Christ. This is the most boring fucking shit. Who gives a fuck?
It's not a go gives a fuck situation. It's incredibly sad story.
Well, the little girl's goat got killed? Bro, it happens all the damn time.
Yeah, but not because it was the kid. Like, it's not just like, okay, the kid didn't want the goat to die. And okay, well, sorry, we have to eat the goat. It's everyone. The mom didn't want to kill the goat. The guy who bought the goat didn't want to kill the goat. And it's just like this compounding thing.
But they taught her a lesson, which was never mess with 4-H. All right,
don't befriend livestock.
They taught the mom a lesson because don't talk about shit about the 4-H on Instagram and Facebook and give us bad publicity.
Yeah, don't get between a man and his goat curry. All right, listen, I'd have eaten that goat if that goat was offered to me. I would have eaten a big bowl of that goat. All right,
I'll make you eat some goat, bro.
And let's be real, so would have you.
No, I wouldn't. If I knew the story, obviously. If I didn't know the story,
especially if I knew the story, 2 bowls.
My stepfamily had a pig growing up, right?
Yeah,
named him Bacon. Mm-hmm. And my stepdad bought this pig fully expecting to slaughter and eat him, right?
Yeah.
And my stepbrothers begged him not to, that they loved Bacon. They didn't want him to kill Bacon. Well, Bacon was dead and they still ate him.
I'm not gonna follow up with that. This is just a horrific story.
Listen, you care too much. Your heart is too pure.
You live in California, by the way.
Yeah, I know I live in California. I don't have control over a fucking northern county that's not. I'm not even in control of San Diego County.
Savages, barely even human.
Shut the fuck up.
You know what? Let's move on.
Yeah, let's please move on from the horrific goat story.
Listen, it's a good piece of journalism by Salvador Hernández.
Yes, it is. The entire story has been written about well.
But I want to say it just reminded me of like that Simpsons clip where Homer raises the lobster and then gives it a nice warm bath.
Then they eat the lobster.
No, that he eats the lobster and everyone watches.
It was, yeah, Mr. Pinchy.
Mr. Pinchy.
But also a semi-related episode, there was Lamb Chop, the episode where Lisa becomes a vegetarian and is still to this day.
That is true. Now, Robert, I don't know if it's you or Harper who has anything from the form, the Google form.
Oh, yes.
Do you have anything to read out? Because we could use that as a hard shift. I think the goat segment will probably be cut from the episode entirely. I really thought that could have led to some interesting stuff.
Interesting how?
And then it turns out
how, Malcolm? How?
Because I wanted you. Yeah, I didn't expect Robert to go full PETA on me.
Fucking PETA. I eat meat.
California, Uber Alice. California, Uber Alice.
Okay, so we have a response to our how would I call it? The fucking submission
inquiry.
form. Oh yeah, we have a response.
I'd say the form.
Yeah, we have a response on our form, and this comes from a very special listener who would like to be called curious about the dark hole.
My dark hole?
You know what? I know we're not supposed to make. Who's dark hole?
Who's dark hole?
Who's dark hole? My dark hole? Yeah. Your dark hole?
He's curious about the dark hole. So there is out there, there is a single dark hole that he's curious about. I guess we can only guess what it is because it's not a black hole.
Well, you think it's a dark hole. And Stephen Hawking certainly has calculations to support the theory that it is a dark hole. But
man, that guy is dead.
Hawking. Yeah, his theory's out the window.
Everything he's ever said, fucking trash. Throw that shit in the garbage. Who cares?
Microsoft Sam ass.
That man is not breathing.
No dark hole, no space, no sun, no orbit.
That gravity all bullshit? Fucking, you still believe in gravity? I start walking up the walls.
It's so funny. His soul is in the black hole in the sky.
The big black hole in the sky
where atheists go.
Called your mom. Okay, so this is from a listener who would like to be called curious about the dark hole, and his question is: isn't Arizona just the West's Florida?
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, it's worse in several ways. So you couldn't even call it the West Florida. It's more like the West Buffalo. And even then, it's worse in every way than Buffalo. So to quantify what makes it the Florida of the West, it is a retirement community full of old Jews. And
which just sounds like Florida.
Yeah, it's Florida. And there's nothing wrong with being Jewish, to clarify. But it's just like a demographic
you
thing.
You shouldn't have to clarify that. It's sort of assumed.
Well, it's the times we live in.
Yeah, fair.
And there's a large population of elderly people, just generally speaking, besides the Jewish people, which are plentiful. And they all coagulate in certain subsections of the city that are now being populated by people from California.
Congregate, coalesce.
Yeah, but what?
You said coagulate, and I said congregate, coalesce to agree with you. What you're saying.
Yeah. Fountain Hills, for example, is a pristine elderly community that looks like some sort of resort planet.
Also, the biggest fountain in North America.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, really. There are signs there that tell you not to approach or talk to panhandlers, and I've never seen a black person in Fountain Hills, and
Jesus Christ.
I feel like you can't precede that sentence with "it's a very nice place."
Okay, yeah, well maybe I should mean that it's aesthetically very pleasing. Not that it's a nice place to be.
It's a very
pretty place. Thank you for the correct. Oh no! Listen! I didn't mean to. Okay. So Fountain Hills is a very.
No! Now I get it. It was instead of being of a dark hole, it was supposed to be I'm in search of a black person in that community.
That's why he was curious about the West Florida. That's what Florida has that Arizona kind of doesn't.
Let him be antagonistic. He can be the heel. Listen, I have to ask you a very important question, Malcolm. Is this because the Yodis are doing better than the
than the Canucks?
Than the Canucks this year?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, what about that whole money laundering team discussion we had?
Yeah, what was that all about?
The Yodis.
Anyway.
Listen, they're just the.
Sorry, good jobs on the Winnipeg Jets for beating the tar out of the Golden Knights. I had money on that game. You sons of bitches.
Talk more about Fountain Hills, fuck.
Yeah, okay. So I've never seen a black person in Fountain Hill. There are signs that tell you not to handle panhandlers.
Is it a sundown town?
In all but name.
There's also sort of. There's a famous physician in Fountain Hills that was giving people colostomies without training. Like he would show up at their house and stick a garden hose up their ass.
Yeah, or not colostomies, enemas.
Yes, but he called them colostomies.
Yeah, because that's more scientific terminology. Anyway, go on.
And they didn't find out that he was a bullshit quack until someone with fucking Alzheimer's eventually piped up saying like, hey, wait a second, that guy's put a garden hose up my ass too. And eventually got him jailed. That's the most interesting thing that's ever happened in Fountain Hills. And then like maybe 30 miles south, you have Mesa, which is like a thriving metropolis of criminal activity.
Mesa's not. Okay, it's bad.
You haven't been to Mesa in a while.
It's kind of getting better. It's sort of funny. Last time I was there, because I'm kind of familiar with the area, and last time I was there, I went to a brunch there, and it's like the same as some parts of Scottsdale, which is like very. If you've ever been to Arizona, it's a very kind of snotty, expensive, kind of nicest place. Part of Arizona. They call it Snotsdale. And it's basically the same as Scottsdale, except for like it's just a little bit cheaper, and there's just a dude sitting in the parking lot, probably jerking off. Those are the two big differences.
The thing about Scottsdale is that it's where the old people who can't afford to live in Fountain Hills go. And I was in a Walmart in Scottsdale one time, and I was wearing my work lanyard because I just came off the job and I was buying milk or something. And I pulled a card out, and an old couple grabbed it and said, "Oh, is that for us? Thank you." And I was shocked because they thought that because I was wearing a lanyard, I fucking worked at Walmart. And I kept a hold on the card, and their smiles dissipated instantly. And I was just like, I don't fucking work here. And they were just like, oh my God.
It's just you got mistaken for a Walmart greeter.
Dude.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
Was that a low?
And the fact that they said it like that too, they're like, oh my God, thank you, that's so polite. Like I was a fucking like a mentally handicapped person there to hand out cards.
I've seen the way you come off of work sometimes, Harper. You look a little not crazed, but you don't look happy or well.
Who the fuck looks happy after working all day?
I'm not saying you should. I'm just okay. Maybe I'm understanding these people a little bit too much. No, they're fucking mistake. They're going to Walmart in Scottsdale for one.
Those people are your grandparents.
I see you at to work, Robert. You hit the El Compadre as soon as you sit down.
Fuck, not wrong.
Fuck. Not. So yeah, it is West Florida. It's just less nice. There's less to do, and there's no ocean. Thank you for writing in.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you just traded the heat for humidity, or the humidity for just more heat, and it's just like, there's no ocean, no boats or anything like that. And if you go to like Sun City, they have like the lettering on the sign suddenly like triples and quadruples in length because Arizona is a mad place where you can drive until like your 90s.
I was on 7th Street and saw a guy naked trying to fuck next to a bus stop once.
Nice.
Was he fucking the bus stop, or was he?
He was alone.
He was alone. Well, he wasn't alone. He was by the bus stop. He might have been trying to fuck that pole on the bus stop.
There's too much fentanyl coming over the border, and no one's regulating it here since the police don't give a fuck anymore. And it's not only just killing people, but like making them naked next to bus stops. And I'm tired of going to Ray's Pizza and seeing these people.
Yeah, Ray's Pizza.
Best in this city.
They're all flocking to my favorite pizza joint, Ray's.
Yeah, maybe Ray's is smuggling fentanyl. You don't know that.
Shouts out famous Ray's Pizza, 350 East Bell Road. Beautiful pie. Shouts out. Best in the city.
No, I remember once I was like coming home from the bar, and I was like cutting through an alley that was by where my apartment was. This is like an old apartment I lived in. And I'm just like walking, and then all of a sudden I hear this like kind of like banging. I'm like, what the fuck? And I like turn and I see there's like this little parking lot. And I just see these two like strung out, the best way I can describe it is strung out junkies. And they're fucking on some random person's car. They're like, it's slow, like they're slow humps. They're just like,
it's just very like intimate, like kind of, it's not even like a quick and dirty, we got to get out of here thing.
No, this was like slow. And then they both turned and looked at me. And I was saying, I was 18 years old. I was like, I stared, and then the guy just like did like 2 bumps, and I was like, I gotta go.
He just kept going.
You told him I gotta go. Did you say that out loud? Like, I gotta go.
No, I didn't say a word. I was like, I have to leave. Like, I just like immediately ran into the building.
Fucking watchdogs NPC.
You were the highlight of their night, Malcolm.
That probably turned her on pretty good.
But they had like that dead look in their eyes. Like they just like
the dead, wiry look.
It was wild. It was like I was just like
I don't know, Harper. What's been your exposure to dumpster humping?
My exposure, my experience.
Yes.
So, I mean, none.
Okay.
I've lived I've been lucky enough to have the means to live in a home.
I'm not saying that you're dumpster. Okay, fuck it. Screw it.
What? Just because of how I look?
Yeah.
No, you're gonna profile me? Look, you think I'm some sort of dumpster humping guy? Think I look like I live next to a dumpster?
Look, Robert, just because I look bedraggled and I refuse to cut my hair and my hairline is receding and you're an average to good looking guy with an average to large penis doesn't mean you can talk down to me.
I'm not talking to you. I love you, Harper. You're one of my best friends in the world.
Well, you could have fooled me. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Thank you for writing in. Curious about black hole.
Yeah.
We would love to hear.
Dark hole, yeah. You got to, it's very particular.
So when I put my hands on my cheeks and bend over.
How about this new rule? If you're going to fill in the form, just pick just 3 words, all right? 3 words maximum. Because curious about dark hole could have been the question.
You exceeded that word count by 1.
You're borrowing a single word. No rules. Have them put anything they want.
Hard limits. Better questions.
Better, faster,
going
stronger.
Forward, please insult one of us in the preamble to your question. Thank you.
It's mostly going to be insulting me. Let's be honest.
No, they'll probably going to be something for me in there.
Yeah. And anyone about me will be filtered out.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, we have to. You got an image to keep. We got to be very particular.
Sasha, a plea to Sasha to filter those to me.
Just cut and paste your name.
Yeah. So the haters make me more powerful.
Yeah. No, Arizona. I just one final point about Arizona. I went to college in Arizona, and through basically almost the entirety of going to university college there, I took the bus and I took the light rail trolley that they have there, and it was fucking terrible. I saw more people die on that bus than I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Oh, the light rail.
Arizona, little known, highest pedestrian mortality rate in the US, and it outnumbers some Latin American countries, which is insane to me. Anyway.
It's basically a little Latin American country in Mesa, though. Mesa Tempe area. It's a little Mexico.
It is hell.
Oh my God.
It was hell. And I could tell at least I could shotgun stories right now of me watching people die. And I'm not going to do that.
I have a few.
No, you got to do it. You can't tease out that you watch people die and not tell one story about a person dying on the bus.
So check this out. I was getting harassed by a homeless person on the way to Cold Stone once, and I told him to fucking beat it, you junkie, And I come back around and he's on the floor, fucking collapsed. And I go back to eat the Cold Stone, and I come back out, I'm walking home, and there's an ambulance there carting him off. Motherfucker passed out, overdosed, Narcan can't save him.
Damn.
There's a 3-strike rule in Arizona, by the way. If you overdose 3 times in any given period, they won't administer you Narcan after the 3rd time. They'll just fucking let you die.
Really? That is fucking rough.
Oh, that's fucked.
Welcome to Arizona. We're trying to beef up the sports teams.
Hey, at least you guys have sports teams.
We're the 4th largest city in the U.S., by the way. So send us your condolences. However, that manifests.
I'm sorry. Okay, so go back, Robert. So tell me about a time you saw a guy or a woman. I don't want to gender the person who died on the bus.
Yeah, would hate to dishonor their memory.
I'm trying to remember specifically what street it was on because it
doesn't matter. Just say it's Van Buren. We all know it's Van Buren.
No, it wasn't Van Buren. It's at the station by the Sky Harbor. So I mean, they didn't used to have the.
Oh, okay, Tempe. What, Val Vista?
Yeah. This is just like on between Tempe and Mesa. I'd want to say.
Okay.
And there's a Circle K there. Circle K is just like is just a very like big chain of.
Yeah, there's almost 2 on every street corner.
Yeah, there's so many Circle K's in Arizona. And I'm sitting there on the way back from school. So my route took me all the way from like Fashion Valley, taking the bus up from Fashion Valley, up Tatum, which turned into 40th Street, all the way to University. And then I take the light rail that followed University all the way to Arizona State University. Yeah, ASU, you stole my money.
It's what we do best, baby. You didn't party. You didn't pay the tax. You get your money stolen.
So I'm on my way back. I did the first leg of my ride back, and which is from ASU back to 40th and University. And I'm waiting for the bus that is going to take me back to Fashion Valley where I was living at the time. And let's just say that little corner there is a lot of people who are in less than ideal living situations.
They're bums.
And they're not great.
They're fucking bums and junkies.
Oh
and there's something about that specific spot where you just have like a lot of violent types. Like you had a lot of screamers, you had a lot of people soliciting drugs, sex, anything just for any type of money. That was also the same place where I had to buy a homeless guy beer because not beer, it was fucking like banana schnapps or whatever. But at that very same place where I had to take a homeless guy's money in order to get home for bus fare, another homeless guy there ends up getting stabbed right in front of me. It was not great. He stabbed and just right in the chest several times, diaphragm, like in the rib cage and everything. I turned where I was sitting on the bench to actually fucking see it happen. And the guy stumbled backwards. The guy who stabbed him ran around the corner and he bled out right there. I don't know what you were thinking the story was going to be.
We also have an incredible entertainment complex in Glendale.
He survived. All right.
He did not survive. He died.
He's alive. That story only was in Minecraft.
It works on the FBI.
No,
or they used to, but not. Yeah.
Now they get real tricky with it.
No, and then there was also another story where I saw a guy in a wheelchair get hit by an F-150 and his fake leg went flying. So it's not great. I saw a lot of people die.
That guy
he
alive.
Did not
that guy alive.
live. And then there was another guy who dived onto the tracks on the light rail.
He's alive. That was in GTA. He's alive.
He very much is not alive.
He respawned.
I was stuck on that train for 3 hours because that guy decided to die.
We actually have a letter from the homeless guy Robert saw stabbed.
Okay, yeah. It starts ow.
No, it reads as follows. Dear Seinfuck crew, thank you so much for taking interest in my life story. I appreciate you writing to me beforehand, knowing Robert was going to tell my story. I recovered from the stabbing incident at St. Jude's Hospital downtown in Phoenix. Luckily, the doctors were able to patch my wounds, triangular in nature due to the strange implement used to stab me several times in the chest, diaphragm, rib area, as described previously. I am now a bustling and thriving real estate agent.
Because everyone in Arizona is a real estate agent.
And have several $1,000s in my account. Thank you for taking interest again, and God bless you. Sounds like you turned out all right, Robert.
Yeah, he survived.
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not exactly happy with being the sex and sad stories kind of guy on this that I have been on.
Stop talking about having sex and telling sad stories.
Dude, every single time we've talked about this, I have been prompted.
Listen, Robert, listen. I don't have good sex stories. All right? I don't have I'm not having good sex. All right, I'm not having good sex right now. You know, and listen, and Robert, I told a very sad story on this episode. All right, I read the article. I read the code article.
A very sad story that we're probably gonna cut.
He's yelling.
It's not even your story.
Well, listen, I can beat you in Trauma Tuesdays. All right, I can beat you in Trauma Tuesdays.
Let's go, bitch. Come on, hike up those goddamn pants.
Trauma dump off.
But you have a
trauma off. I just imagine like
I don't have the
beatboxing in the corner, like trauma off.
Don't stop. You ever hear the Thanos beatbox, Malcolm?
Yeah. Oh, Malcolm. I mean, it's so funny.
Yo,
Thanos beatbox battle. Thanos versus Darkseid.
Yeah. You gotta watch that afterwards. It's so fucking funny.
For context, it's just like a fucking like animated, like it's a long running series this guy does where he's like a solo animator, and I guess he does rapping beatbox stuff, but he just like animates popular characters like an epic rap battle, but instead of like actually rapping, they just do beatboxing.
They rap sometimes. They rap between beatbox.
Okay, they have little ditties, but they don't exactly go hard like they do in epic rap battle. And it's so funny because it's like there are parts of it that are just like there's also just like varying quality in terms of the animation. But there's one part in the Thanos beatbox and it's so fucking good and smooth that it's just like this doesn't feel like this belongs at all.
She's like, let me show you how to scratch it.
And then like just imagine in the camera, like Thanos has his like hands extended and he's just like doing.
He's like drawing him spitting. Y'all gonna make me.
Yeah, no, it's also a lot. Most of the beatboxes are like parodies on popular songs.
Yeah, it's like Luigi versus Pikachu and shit like that. It's like a Smash Brothers beatboxing thing.
Yeah,
and they're in you know what I love about like rap battles or like beatbox battle things is that they're always in a wrestling ring. And like
yeah, that is, they are all in a wrestling ring.
In the 3-ring wrestling ring. Like not a boxing ring. Boxing rings look very much different than that now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hold on, we almost got Harper back on wrestling. Hold on.
What?
All right.
What?
I said you want to talk about wrestling.
What?
What?
God damn. Okay.
I'll talk about wrestling till I'm fucking blue in the face, man.
We got an email as well. We got an email. This is a very quick one.
All right.
It's not. There's not a lot to it.
It's not great.
Malcolm's very critical of these submissions, I noticed.
Really? Yeah, today he's been really, going hard on this.
Listen, I got. You know what? I'm expecting people to step up to the streets.
Yeah, Malcolm's a radio show host correspondent. He always writes in good shit.
He's a Howard Stern type.
Yeah, he's a Stern type write-in.
Yeah, I'm Malcolm from Vancouver.
Yeah, here's my address. Step up.
Malcolm from Vancouver says, "Dear Howard, my balls itch. Please help.
I live in a." Got that. Okay, we gotta get into this email before I lose my goddamn mind.
Would you read the email or what?
Yeah. So the email is from Heather, and it just says the Seinfuck podcast, and goes. Foot sent from iPhone. That's it. That's the email.
Foot.
Foot. It's PHOOT.
So she's farting on us.
Is that what it means?
You are so wild for thinking that off the bat. She must be farting on us. Oh God.
Oh no. I hope it doesn't smell bad.
She's breaking wind. Oh, yes, my dear. Yes, my dear. That's quite pungent.
My God,
I hate this so much. Oh, fuck. I hate this.
Robert.
You ever hear that green text before? That's a classic green text. You're just like, yes, my dear. Quite stinky. Is that eggs I detect?
Oh, stop. I can't do it.
Did you eat some asparagus, my dear? Well, that was it. That was the email.
I don't. Okay, thank you. What was it, Heather something?
Actually, Heather, I wanted to respond to your thoughtful inquiry by telling you that it's not always the case. First things first. It depends on a lot of miscellaneous factors, starting with production. We don't always have a plan going forward, but we have a sort of idea of the layout. We tackle a lot of independent contractor issues as well. Our producer Sasha is working on a contract that we have written out, but it expires pretty quickly, and we're talking and renew with him. But his demands, I can't even call them requests anymore. His demands are increasing, and we don't have the lard storage to comply with a lot.
The lard storage? Yeah, I guess that is an interesting demand.
He also asked that we start collecting rainwater, which is illegal where I live.
It is illegal in most parts of.
Why is it illegal?
It's probably illegal in Vancouver too. You just don't know it because you're too privileged.
Yeah, you've never had to collect rainwater.
Yeah.
No, we listen. We're in a rainforest, all right? We're allowed to collect the water.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are. You can't prove otherwise.
You can't neither.
I could go look through the local code.
Yeah, look. Yeah, you go right now live on air. Look through the local code. Research. Yeah, you know what?
The burden of proof is on you.
I do my own research.
The burden of proof is on you to prove you can collect rainwater. Why don't you try?
Damn it, he's right. There is no fucking shit. There's no rules to not harvest rainwater in the District of British Columbia.
Yeah, got you, bitch.
I guess it's a province.
Look at his town code. Pour through your town code.
Yeah, listen, it says their right to harvest rainwater is unrestricted and not subject to concerns of downstream water users.
Is it legal to collect rain?
I'm going into my rainwater collection barrel. They'll be nice.
No, because it'll be rainwater and it'll have been unpurified, which is another concern that the Nestle Corporation has about this practice.
Ball rainwater.
Yeah, that wasn't very funny, but I appreciate you laughing anyway, Robert.
No, I was laughing to myself of just ball rainwater.
Oh yeah, well, fuck me. Fucking idiot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You ever seen that scene from Goodfellas?
Which one?
You know the one.
Where he cuts the garlic really thin?
I think about that scene a lot. That's not even the scene I was thinking about, but the scene where he's cutting the garlic really thin with the razor blade drives me fucking insane. Can you imagine like fucking slicing up the garlic into like nail wafer thin slices with a razor blade and being like, "You got the bread? All right, well, hold on. I'm almost done with this." And he's like fucking very carefully making like cellophane thin garlic wafers. That's wild.
It's a good movie.
No, it's not.
Goodfellas isn't a good movie?
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I'm just saying things to elicit a response.
Are you okay, bud?
Are you okay?
No, ever since I found out you can collect water in Canada, and I'm a little upset, actually.
He's just throwing your entire game off.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be legal there.
Listen, our water rights are not owned by the Saudis. All right?
Fuck. Oh, stop. It hurts. Yeah, I just imagine like Joe Biden. Someone's got to do something.
Yeah, he's giving a speech and he's just like, I'll tell you what, someone's got to do something about China. Someone's got to do. Like he's not the president.
And it's like, what about you?
Like he's not the president. Yeah, that's how it always comes off.
Let's go sit down over here for a bit. No, I gotta finish the speech.
I was talking about doing something about China. About if you think about going anyway.
Oh no.
The most like cogent point I've ever seen Joe Biden make was when someone was just like, a lot of Republicans are concerned about this certain policy, just like or about like the Democrats and your caucus doing ABC. He's just like, yeah, the same Republicans that think we eat babies.
Fucking fire. Yes, go Joe.
And then he walks away.
It's fucking awesome.
Refuses to elaborate.
That's so good.
That was awesome.
We stand with him.
Thanks, Joe.
What an awesome guy. We stand with Darth Brandon.
It also kind of just makes it look like he really does eat babies, though, you know?